Welcome back. The latest things in Ukraine, the conflict itself. So Zelensky has launched his counter-offensive against the Russians. He's failed in Kherson and Kharkov. Not much we know what's going on there. Could be the same result as it was in Kherson. The difference is there are Ukrainian soldiers trained in the UK. They have Polish T-72 tanks. Dug them up out of the military graveyard of military junk. And we've been hearing casualties from Kherson. 40 mercenaries killed. Foreign fighters, that is. This is one of those things what the collective West and Zelensky has been saying. The changing game. Practically just sending people to the slaughter to be massacred by Russian artillery. That's the truth. And when you really need those troops for the real offensive, and when the Russians start one day marching on Kiev, you better, Jim, put on your snow boots and go north, because once they start moving, they just like a train going at full speed, regardless what you find them in front of them, it'll just plough them down. The reason is probably things are slowing down because probably in those parts of the Ukraine, and there have been fortified constructions in the last, was it a few years or so. Obviously NATO's paws are in the middle as usual. And basically, probably any military expert who knows what he's talking about, it's an absolute massacre. You can compare it. The First World War, lieutenants or the captains sending their squadrons charging from the trenches into no man's land, getting massacred by bombs, machine gun fire and stuff like that. It's the same tactic. It's just a useless slaughter and no real military gain in the end. It's just propaganda, sent more weapons, more money, and we all know where it ends up. On the black market or in the pockets of these villains. Because Zelensky and his regime are just a bunch of criminals. And the West are funding and keep propping up these villains which have been, for the last 8 years or so, been exploiting and robbing resources from the Ukrainian people, the civilian people. And these people from the West to come up in the name of democracy. The real villains you have to catch out of from Kiev, Zelensky and his bunch, and all those Ukraine oligarchies which are pro-NATO, pro-neocons and all that stuff. Probably at the end of the day, Kharkov will end up like Kherson. Total massacre and so on. They believe they can slow down the Russian military machine. The Russians are slowing down because they have this obstacle in front of them, these fortifications. And they probably know what game Zelensky's playing. So this is a so-called counter-offensive, throwing the resources which you still have available against the Russians. And when they break those fortified lines. It will just be a downhill campaign. What they see in front, they will destroy, basically. So, Russians are not losing. Ukrainians are having heavy losses due to incompetent people who are running the military and in politicians as well. Zelensky doesn't give a monkey about the well-being of his people. And this is a clear example, sending Ukrainian citizens to the slaughter for nothing. That's why in October they're calling up women to fight this war, because he's running out of manpower and resources. And all those resources the West have provided, they've been destroyed or captured or sold on the black market.